I always say in the rough times you can go cry to your daddy. And when I say daddy, I mean, you know, your big daddy Dalio. This terrible name that I've come up with. But sometimes when you go cry to him, he's not so comforting. He's no Mr. Rogers. Sometimes he's like this, a rougher daddy. A daddy that's gonna give you that hard truth and maybe even make you cry a little more. And this, unfortunately, is one of those times. Something that has been in the back of my head behind, you know, the whole market collapsing and shutting down and it breaking down at a structural level was the long-term debt cycle, which if you've been with us at Fallible Macro Ops for a while, then you know we used to cover that all the time. It was basically our base macro thesis for how the world works. And guess who we learned it from? Yeah, Daddy Dalio. So not only have we been tracking it and following it and understanding it, but you know, Bridgewater has been doing the same because that's their main basis of all their research. And they're just, you know, a slightly bigger and better funded shop than we are, but that's okay. So going forward in a lot of these videos, I think we're gonna venture back into macro land, which I gotta admit, it gets pretty depressing. First time I learned about the long-term debt cycle, I just wanted to build a bunker in my backyard and live there. So just remember, even when things get really bad and a debt bomb explodes, the sun will still shine. It's not gonna be that bad. In a sense, you just gotta keep perspective. And I'm bringing this up because Dalio just published an article about interest rates hitting that 0% floor. So the whole long-term debt cycle thing is starting to play out, at least the negative part. Now, if you just type in fallible debt cycles, you can go back to my videos where I explained how this works. But let's go over Dalio's recent research that he published to talk about some of the effects, the implications of hitting that interest rate floor. And then he goes into a lot of recommendations of what our government should be doing. But before we get into it, the NASDAQ All-Stars trading system is open till Sunday. Check it out. There's a link down below in the description and comments that will explain more. Right now is a great time to have a system in your pocket because things are getting rough in the market. So let's jump in, and it looks like all the highlights I made are magically gone, so that's really convenient. So Dalio's been concerned for some time that the next economic downturn would lead to hitting that 0% interest rate floor. And it becomes a problem when you got a lot of debt outstanding in the economy and big wealth and political gaps. This is the same thing that happened in the 1930s, which we needed Great Depressions and wars to fix. Now, the coronavirus is definitely scary, and I am worried about older folk and the ones that don't have an immune system. Dalio is actually one of those guys. But Dalio says at least those economic impacts don't scare him. What does scare him is combining them with that 0% floor that we just hit because the Fed reduced again, right? They cut. So that floor means that all asset classes go down because the positive effect of interest rates falling won't exist. You're already at zero, right? Also, every country's central bank, what do? They're always trying to stimulate, right? Cut rates and guide the yield curve, but that won't work at zero either. And then what they try to do by printing money and buying debt assets, that's not gonna work because bonds can't really go any higher. And they're less likely to be sold to buy other assets because everything's going down. Another problem is that real interest rates will likely rise because there's gonna be disinflation or deflation coming from those lower oil prices that we already talked about, and other commodity prices are gonna drop too. We're also gonna have that economic weakness and more credit problems. So by the way, a real interest rate is the interest rate you get when you take out inflation. Nominal is the inflation included. So yeah, nominal with inflation, those rates would be going down, but the real ones will rise. And if that happens, we'll get rising credit spreads, which will raise debt service payments for all these companies at the same time as credit lending shrinks. That means credit will tighten even more and it'll cause more deflation and more negative growth forces. And a bunch of countries have their currencies being absolutely smacked right now. They're going to be in even worse shape. And this is all complicated macro stuff, but basically what's happening is a negative feedback loop because we hit that 0% interest rate. It's the out of bullet scenario that people have been talking about for years. Now it's actually happening. So this causes a lot of problems for a lot of different institutions. Like think about pension funds or insurance companies. They have a lot of long-term liabilities, which is, you know, like the pension they got to pay out to people or the insurance they got to pay out to people that are funded with equity and equity-like assets. And if all assets are going down, that's not a good look. So when Dalio does his calculations and includes the expected returns of assets compared to these companies' liabilities, they're definitely going to come up short. Again, this goes back into the pension crisis, which hasn't been as popular lately, but that narrative is going to come back full force. They're going to have to end up selling their assets to make their payments. Then you got oil producers that are going to get screwed too, the countries and the companies, which remember, we just made that video. And as of this recording, oil is approaching the teens. It's insane. And for those guys, their expenses are much greater than their revenues. So they're going to have to slash spending and sell their assets. And those are only two examples. There's similar circumstances for many different industries and companies and institutions, and it's really a problem. The thing is that most investors and businesses are long. They're holding assets that they hope will go up in price on a leveraged basis, so they have a lot of debt. So when the asset price declines, it's going to have even bigger financial effects than what we're seeing right now in just the stock prices. They're going to have that ripple effect because of the debt. A good example right now is these airlines asking for a bailout. Like, what? They spent all their free cash flow over the years buying back shares, and now they're in trouble. And they want the government to help them out because they're going to go bankrupt by the end of the year. That's how most businesses are. They're not conservative operators who are very careful and keep cash for a rainy day. They're living on the edge of their seat, a bunch of debt and just living day to day. And when you get into the bigger corporations that aren't run by like a founder who actually cares about the long-term vision of the company, then a lot of that management, what are they doing? They're just trying to pump up stock prices, get their options higher, and then cash out, right? They don't actually care about long term. It's all short term, just like a politician. A lot of short term thinking, too much debt. Now we're at this problem. So right now, the markets are likely to have a bigger effect on the economy than the other way around, just because of all the things that Dalio just mentioned. So here's what Dalio thinks needs to happen. Big fiscal stimulation with monetary cooperation, but it's not happening yet. So you need the federal government making fiscal changes, like taxes and things like that, and then you need the central bank to print. And a big problem with our government right now is the divisive politics. You try to put something through and the other party blocks it. So yeah, there was some fiscal stimulation put into place. Like right now, they're going to do helicopter money, give everyone checks, but it's not large enough or targeted enough to neutralize the contagion of the economic and market effects of the virus. You got to move to whatever it takes, throw as much money as you can at it. So let's go over what's happening in the US. Right now, we got billions and billions going to corona research and development of vaccines and, helping all these hospitals. That's good. And we also got billions going to small businesses. So think about all the restaurants, bars, venues in general closing down. They need help, especially if the airlines are getting bailed out, bail them out too. The thing is, it's in Trump's best interest to really turn on the stimulus. He's at serious risk of doing too little too late. The clock is ticking. A big fiscal stimulation going into elections, that would be great for him. Because right now, it does not look like he's going to get reelected. So what Dalio wants is more targeted measures. There have been some good stuff like the loans to the small businesses, paid sick leave for those people, who can't work, coverage for virus treatment for those that don't have insurance, unemployment benefits, direct transfers, that helicopter money I was talking about. But even everything we're doing, Dalio says, is still not enough. The measures are too small and they will need to be much bigger. So one thing is that we need more loans to the small businesses. Like I was saying, they're really in trouble. And Dalio thinks the best way to do it is for the government to guarantee the safety of the banks lending. There needs to be government protection on any new lending. And that's important so these small businesses could get that loan to bridge them through this tough time. The thing is what happened here is seriously unprecedented. These small businesses and bars that had to shut down, they went from 100% to zero revenue like that overnight. In previous recessions, it's been a more gradual decline. It wasn't just 100 to a zero real quick like that. So these troubled companies, and it's not just restaurants, that's just the easiest example, but they're tapping pre-existing lines of credit at the banks, which the banks don't want because they don't want to take on more risk when the economy is deteriorating. So to allow them to get more money, just have the government step in and say, hey, we got your back. If they default, we'll take care of it. We need protected lending programs. And some of this is similar to what we saw in 2008, just in the sense that liquidity is tightening up. And remember, in all the market reviews that we do, the one thing you don't want is for liquidity to dry up. Then you get free falls in prices of everything. Lots of people going out of business. It's horrible, but that's exactly what's happening now, which is again why Dalio wants the Federal Reserve and the government to just go all out. You just need a fire hose of cash, just let it go. So based on the analysis that Dalio and his team is doing, he sees lots of companies and industries that are going to have debt problems and will have to restructure. And restructure means bankruptcy restructuring. And he doesn't know what the government is doing. He doesn't know if they're expecting these companies to keep operating through the bankruptcy process, because that would be debilitating. And it could become a big political and social issue. Remember we did those two videos on Dalio and capitalism and how he talked about the wealth gap and all the problems that we're facing? Well, this is a situation where all that might hit the fan. If you got a bunch of people losing their jobs, losing their money with no savings, like most Americans don't even have $1,000 sorts of savings, they're going to be pissed. And I'm sure Dalio is scared for himself too, because he's one of the rich ones. This is when you get massive social upheaval and you need some type of redistribution. And at least in the short term, you got to be supporting all these people with the government, or you're facing real problems like even violence. You can't let people go hungry. He says if he was in Trump's shoes, he'd be generous and empathetic, especially as the news becomes increasingly bad at this politically sensitive time. So that's all the stuff the government should do, the fiscal policy. As for the monetary policy and the Federal Reserve, they've done pretty much everything they could do before moving into monetary policy 3. So the first type of monetary policy, MP1, is using interest rates. But hey, now we're at 0. So what do? Well, you move on to MP2, the printing of money and buying of financial assets, which, as we talked about right in the beginning of this video, it's not working as well anymore. Again, because we hit that 0%. So then you got to move on to MP3, which is the central government runs big deficits and sells the resulting bonds to the central bank. So basically the Federal Reserve is printing money and giving it to the federal government to give out to the people. So they might likely have to move to that. And it's important for fiscal and monetary policy to be coordinated. That's the only way to make this work, and there's not much else that can be done. Theoretically, the Fed could directly buy assets like stocks, but that's controversial and the Fed is really not supposed to do that. It wouldn't have much of an impact and it would need congressional approval anyway. So the best path forward is to do all the things Dalio mentioned, plus provide support to the banks with those fiscal protections, which will help businesses get credit when they need it. And then Dalio goes on to talk about Europe and all the other countries that are facing this. But what's interesting is China, because the most targeted and appropriately sized fiscal and monetary response has come from them. And that's because of their communism. They have a greater ability to coordinate fiscal and monetary policies and cut through political disputes because there is only one party and one ruler. And they have pretty smart economic policymakers. So sadly, our democracy is holding us back in this situation, and the government isn't doing enough. It sucks. And you can see that because the stock market keeps falling. But let's see what happens. Hopefully they turn it around. And we will continue to cover this story, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get an email notification when we release new videos. And don't forget, NASDAQ All-Stars is open. Check it out. There's a link down below in the description and comments. It closes Sunday, so do it now. But okay, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Stay fallible out there. Bye.